your attention towards Vietnam and Indonesia. Just sort of run that by me why you're doing that.
Yeah, so for several years now, since 2013, Change for Animals Foundation has been working with Animals Asia, Humane Society International and Soy Dog Foundation as part of the Asia Canine Protection Alliance.
That's ACPA, yeah?
ACPA, correct, yes. And so a lot of our work has been focused on Southeast Asia, particularly Vietnam, where up to 5 million dogs are believed to be traded and slaughtered for human consumption each year. And more recently, we're also supporting efforts in Indonesia, where we know that there's a huge trade in dogs in various different islands of Indonesia for consumption, and we're finally in a position working with those groups within country and internationally to really make a change by exposing the severe suffering caused by this trade, but also the enormous risk it poses to human health, particularly in the form of rabies transmission, but also other diseases. I think now we're in the strongest position we've ever been in before to really take on these issues.
And do they, in Indonesia and Vietnam, like in South Korea, do they have dog meat farms?
No, we've never found dog meat farms in any country other than South Korea.
So where does the produce come from in these countries?
These dogs generally are stolen from the streets, and so we know that in both Vietnam and in Indonesia, people are having their pets stolen. Other times dogs are collected off the streets if they're stray or roaming dogs, and they're then transported throughout the country to supply markets and slaughterhouses. And many of these dogs throughout Asia still are wearing their collars, which is a sign of their former existence under the status of companion animals. Correct.
So this problem is a major problem throughout Asia, and certainly the reports I read, there are between 30 and 50 million dogs a year slaughtered for the table. But for the moment, for CFAF, it's going to be Vietnam and Indonesia where you're going to be concentrating.
Yeah, I mean, resources are limited, and there are so many amazing organisations who we're lucky enough to work with who are taking on this issue throughout Asia. And so for us, we really feel that we have a real chance now to make that really big impact in both Vietnam and Indonesia. And so that's where we're kind of extending our focus to.
Fantastic.
But good. A dog is a dog wherever in the world it is, and as is an animal. And so Change for Animals Foundation will always fight for as hard as we need to and for as long as we need to